Xây tương thân tình trong đạo Phật, tùy khác màu nhưng một tôn sư. Hôm nay đây cùng nhau họp mặt, quyết noi theo đường Phật giáo Hoàng Dương.
Welcome to Doi Song Phat. This is Venerable Thich An Minh, and I'm here to basically continue on with the teachings of the Eightfold Path. So the last few episodes, I talked about what the Eightfold Path are. The first one being right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right concentration, and then right mindfulness. But then we have to understand, if I were to emphasize the most important, if you were to learn one teaching of the Buddha and apply that teaching within your life and just stick to one teaching, the Eightfold Path will elevate you to the higher realms. It will free you from all sufferings that you experience in this human world. It will remove all greed, anger, and delusions from your mind, so then you can elevate yourself into the higher realms of enlightenment. Basically, if you were to practice the Eightfold Path, strictly just that alone will allow you to become a Buddha yourself. Now, why is that? Why is the teaching of the Eightfold Path so important? Now, before I continue on, we have to understand the power, why it starts with right understanding. See, the reason why we're in this human world, the reason why we're in this world of suffering, in this samsaric world where birth, old age, sickness, and death, and all the 8 types of suffering is afflicted within us, greed, anger, and delusion is the reason why we're here, called the 3 poisons. Greed, anger, and delusion. Now, out of greed, anger, and delusion, or greed, anger, and ignorance, out of those 3, which one is the most dangerous and which one is the deadliest? That would be ignorance. Right understanding is a complete opposite of ignorance. Therefore, with ignorance being the most dangerous, ignorance is the reason why we're here, then right understanding is the cure of it. Right understanding is the complete opposite of ignorance. That's why in the Eightfold Path, it starts with right understanding. Right understanding here fixes with the mind. The right understanding, what I talked about before, is like if you're planning to climb a mountain, then right understanding is knowing exactly where to go, seeing the mountain as a whole, and then picturing in your head, knowing where to go, what to do, which path to take, which paths to avoid. And by doing so, you're always in a constant position to fix yourself to get to the top. See, our goal is to become a what? Our goal is to become a Buddha. Our goal as Buddhists is to remove all forms of suffering within the mind so that we can elevate ourselves from this human world. So by doing so, by understanding what the power of right understanding means, that we are always in a position to fix our mind, to always understand instead of being the opposite, which is ignorance. If we have a hint of ignorance, then that ignorance will lead us into a dark path. That ignorance will basically cloud our judgment, makes us do things that plant negative karma by us saying things that creates negative karma. But most importantly, if we have ignorance, it clouds our mind, so we have negative thought. Because everything starts with the mind. If you have any negative thought, then by laws of cause and effect, you will have negative things come into your life. Therefore, right understanding is the cure for all ignorance. You have to have right understanding. Now, right understanding leads to right thought. Now, understanding right thought means that you have to understand the power and the concept of the mind. See, the mind, the Buddha taught that everything the mind thinks, it will become. What we think, it will become. Therefore, if we think of negative things, then we become negative things. If we think of positivity, then we'll eventually become positive. It all starts with the mind. Thoughts become words, become action. If you study anyone's action, then you'll know exactly what's going on in their mind. If someone study what their words are, if their words is constantly negative. Say, for example, if you know someone at school, or you know someone at work, or you know someone in your family who's in their words always say something negative. They always have to say something negative about something. They're always complaining about something. They're always saying negative things about someone else. They're always saying negative things about their situation, whatever. They're always complaining about something. The words that come out of their mouth is always negative. Well, guess what? Guess what's in their mind all the time? It's something negative. We don't have to learn how to read minds. We can just read what they're saying and understand what's inside their mind. We can read their actions, because action speaks louder than word. A lot of people can lie. They can say positive things, but in their mind but that can only go so far. Study their actions. What do their actions say? Do someone always harm other people more than they do good? Do someone always hurt other people more than they do anything good for other people? Do they always do something that's negative? Action. Now, study their actions, and you know exactly what's going on in their mind. Why? Because thoughts become words, become action. How is someone's habit? If someone's habit is negative, then guess what? In their mind is always something negative. Now, if they're doing something, the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, what happened? It becomes their habit. Now, understand and study someone's habit, and then you can see exactly what's going on in their mind. Because thoughts become words to become action. So you have to understand that. Understand that formula, and then you can understand a lot of people. But guess this. The second thing is right thought. Now, I already went over right thought before. Right thought here is that you should always have the thoughts of helping people instead of harming people. You should always have the right thought of being compassionate, whereas being negative and harming other people. You should always be in a position to always help other people, to service other people, to be a servant leader, to be the first one to do good things. Because guess what? A lot of things in this world right now is negative. If you were to scan the news, read the newspaper, read the internet, you will see that the world that we live in right now is very negative. It's very negative. There's people killing this, there's protests about this, there's wars in the Middle East, and there's beheadings of journalists, and there's all these things that are going on right now. Now you have to be careful what you feel in your mind. Right thought is exactly that. What do you fill your mind every single day? Do you read the news and it fills your mind with fear? Because if you do so, guess what? You're not in a position of right thought. Right thought means that you should always be in a position to control your mind. But however, if you sit down and you watch the news, it's good to be informed of what's going on in the world, but do not make it as a habit of, reading the newspaper or watching the news just to get you that daily dose of fear so then you can live yourself in this small bubble. No, you should never be that way. A person who understands the Dharma should always be in a position to constantly improve themselves, to always be in a position to read, to always be in a position to build themselves up 1% a day. If you stop and do not learn, if you stop but do not self-improve, well, guess what? You're limiting yourself in the power of your thoughts, because thoughts become words, become action. If you do not watch your thoughts will carry you into a dark place. However, for a person who understands the Dharma, what does that person have to do? That person always have to be in the position to control their thoughts. But if you, say for example, if you do control your thoughts, but what happens if you think of the same thing over and over and over again? Even though you're doing something good, but there's always room for improvement. That's the key here. Always have room for improvement. So when you're in a position to read something, to always self-improve, then you fix on your thinking. That means that you're able to think bigger, wider. You're able to think things that other people can't think of. You're able to control your life because the power of your thought is wide. The power of your thought is humongous. It's huge. So the power of your life depends on the power of your thoughts. But if you have a small thought based on of everything that you're just not self-improvement, that your thinking is limited, well, guess what? Your life is very limited. In order for you to reach the fullest potential of your life, what do you have to do? You always have to be in a position to expand your mind. That is in the same sense of right thought. Your right thought here is always self-improving, always be in a position to expand your mind through various ways of listening to other people, to other leaders, listen to the way they live their life, listen to their backstories, read about laws of success, read about how to apply different aspects, different laws of formulas or laws of success, formulas of success into your life. So then you can expand your thinking, and then you expand your horizon. You expand your horizon, well, guess what? Your life will change based on what you think. So it's very important for us to always be in a position to control our thought. That is in a sense of right thought. It's very important. Remember, the power of the mind is everything that we can control. We cannot control if the sun comes up or comes down. We cannot control the phases of the moon. We cannot control if the tides of the ocean comes up or come down. We cannot control if there's an earthquake or there's a natural disaster. We cannot control anything outside of ourselves. But the one thing that we can control is the power of our thoughts, the power of our mind. How we think, how we respond to different situations will determine whether you fail or whether you succeed. How you respond to any circumstances that arise in your life, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. How you respond in that exact moment. How you use your thoughts in right thought. How you use your mind to basically overcome any obstacle that comes into your life. How you use your mind to respond whatever circumstances that arises. Well, guess what? By doing that determines whether you fail or whether you succeed. You do the right thing, you will succeed. And so let me allow the commercials to run, and I'll return to the second part of the show.
Xây tương thân tình trong đạo Phật, tùy khác màu nhưng một tôn.